You got it.
Morning.
All right, you ready?
She got
You got the poor man's Zakia.
No.
My name is Amshala Jairam, Campaigns Director for the Alliance for Quality Education. And we are so excited to endorse Congressman Jamal Bowman. Congressman Bowman is a dedicated friend and ally of the Alliance for Quality Education, earning our wholehearted endorsement for re-election. And this is not something we do often, so you know it's special.
Yes.
His unwavering advocacy for stronger public schools mirrors our collective goal to dismantle systemic racism and economic oppression in New York State's public education system. Like I said, we don't do this often. Our endorsement is a rare expression of confidence, as we've lacked only 2 other candidates in our 20-year history.
Wow.
Congressman Bowman has proven himself to be a true and unwavering education warrior for New York's public schools. During his tenure as principal at Cornerstone Academy for Social Action, he organized student walkouts and collaborated with AQE to host teach-ins in support of Black Lives Matter and for 2 consecutive years. He quickly established his position again during his brief time in Congress. We look forward to playing our role in helping him send him back to Congress to continue championing for increased funding for New York's public schools, supporting our dedicated teacher workforce, and pushing and passing legislation that improves educational opportunities from birth to higher education. Congressman Bowman, thank you for being here.
Thank
So with that stirring introduction, I'm going to introduce our first speaker. Tom Shepard is a Bronx parent and an education warrior himself. Tom.
Yes.
Yeah, Tom.
Yes, sir.
So, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
So, I guess the way that I can just contextualize this and the importance of this is by understanding also what today is, right? So, February 21st, 1965, we lost Malcolm X. Now,
Come on, Tom.
so when we understand who Malcolm X was as a champion for people, as one who had no issue stepping out and calling out systems of oppression, calling out systems of racism, and calling out systems of brutality against Black and brown people, it is important that on this day that we recognize that people like Congressman Bowman, thank you, Congressman Bowman, for being a champion of people, for going to Washington and calling out systems of oppression, for calling out systems of racism, for calling out systems of brutality against Black and brown people. It is important that we have people like Congressman Bowman in Washington standing up for us and standing up for our rights and standing up for the rights and the experiences of our children and young people.
That's right.
I have had the pleasure before Congressman Bowman was Congressman Bowman, when Congressman Bowman
Streets is watching.
when Congressman Bowman was Principal Bowman, and I served on the Community Education Council in this district to be the liaison to his school. And what I can tell you is we have a champion
That's right.
of education. We have a champion for our young people. We have somebody that is willing to do what is necessary to make sure that our young people and our families have the tools and the resources they need so that we can have and enjoy a better life as adults. So, Congressman, I want to say thank you. I want to tell everyone out there, we will not and we do not have a better, we couldn't have asked for a better champion for education in our communities that we have in Congressman Bowman. And AQE, thank you for your endorsement of Congressman. And I just want to say to everyone out there, like, we're going to get to that time when we have to vote. We have to make a choice. The choice is clear. If you want a decent education for your children, if you want, you know, our communities to like prosper and flourish, right, then we need to have that vote reflected in our halls of power. And Jamal Bowman is the one to represent our interests and represent our views and promote and push forward and move forward the things necessary for our Black and brown communities to have what they need. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah! Okay, Tom!
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Hey everyone.
Hey!
The traffic didn't want me to be great, but okay. So hi everyone. I'm Zakia Shkiransari. I'm the newly, well, I was going to say appointed, co-executive director, Alliance for Quality Education. And a staunch friend, ally, comrade of Congressman Jamal Bowman. Our work extends for many, 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 many years. As we have stood side by side in his school when he was the principal of Cornerstone Academy of Social Action, but also with his parents and students in Albany. This is the man that we want to make sure that we get back into Congress because he is a true champion for education. And I'm sure it was shared by my colleague, Amshala Jairam, is that we don't put our names on just anything. Alliance for Quality Education puts a stamp on true education warriors. And we haven't done it often. And when we do that, know that we know what we are fighting for and we know the person that we are putting our stamp on. And it is, as someone in an organization that's been doing this work for over 2 decades, and personally, I have 8 children and 4 grandchildren who are now in school. There is no better person to put our stamp of approval on as an education warrior for our public education as Jamal Bowman. And we're going to keep the conversation going. We're going to call up another amazing warrior in this work, Jasmine Gripper, co-director of the Working Families Party.
Hi everyone, I'm Jasmine Gripper, co-director of the New York State Working Families Party, and I am proud to be here with the Alliance for Quality Education and Congressman Jamal Bowman because it is our duty to get champions into Congress and make sure our champions stay in Congress. We are proud of the work Congressman Bowman has done. We are proud that he led and he's leading the fight for the Green New Deal for schools.
Yeah!
He is absolutely our champion. Working Families Party this is a top priority campaign for us. We are going all out to re-elect the entire squad, and that includes Congressman Bowman, who represents New York and represents New York well. Yes. He is the only Black member of Congress in New York State that has a part of his district outside of New York City. It is very important that we keep him in Congress. It is very important that he knows he has the support of the people, of the Working Families Party, and now of the education champion group, Alliance for Quality Education. I'm proud to be here, Jamal Bowman, and I will continue to be here every step of the way to make sure you are back in Congress, back in Washington, fighting for our communities, for our children, and for working families. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to keep this conversation going. I think the reality is that we understand the importance of Congress, like never before. If anybody wasn't paying attention before 2016, best believe they're paying attention now. We know how valuable and how important it is to not only have a warrior up there to continue to fight as those who try to kind of knock all our folks down, but and also have someone who's willing to pass policies, legislation that ensures that Black, brown, marginalized communities have what they need. So it's education, but so much more. So I want to bring up another community member who is in full support of Congressman Jamal Bowman, Jamal Thomas.
Greenberg.
Yes.
Westchester.
Westchester in the building. Thank you so much. I appreciate the invite to the Alliance for Quality Education. I am a kinfolk with anybody who is looking to make the education system in this country work for our young people, which is exactly where me and this man first connected. We were at a Juneteenth event up in Greenberg. He's walking around shaking hands and kissing babies, you know, we were kidding around the name Jamal and Jamal, and he agreed to be on the Black on Black Education podcast with me and my daughter, and we sat down, and immediately I'm like, wow, this guy thinks and like me, but he is in Congress actually making these things work and happen for our young people. So there are people out here lying about him and telling all kind of falsehoods. I'm somebody who has been a registered independent proudly my whole entire life, and I said I was never ever going to do the whole party switching thing, but I did it, and I did it in support of Jamal Bowman. We need to keep this man in Congress. We need to continue to have whether it's the fighting for this Green New Deal, which I've talked to young people about, and they're excited about the idea of actually focusing their attention on it. There's so much, you know, wisdom that he's brought as an educator to Washington, and we need that to continue. So proudly I endorse this man for continued Congress, and appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you.
Jamal Thomas reminded me, as I said before, like we're education, but education has to do with climate. Climate has to do with housing, and housing has to do with healthcare. And all these things make up a productive society that they can thrive and they can make a living wage, and we can close the wealth gap, and we can do all those things. And Congressman Jamal Bowman is already on the road to doing that. We cannot lose him in this moment. So I'm going to bring up another warrior in this work for educational justice, a true educational warrior from Harlem, who came all the way from Harlem, a parent and a grandmother, and just a phenomenal leader for education and so many more in our community, Tanisha Grant.
Hey y'all. Hey y'all. So my voice is a little bit caucus weekend. I'm Tanisha Grant. I am the executive director of Parents Supporting Parents New York. Malcolm X all day.
That's right.
Jamal runs in that vein. He's learned from our elders and our ancestors. And with that, I'm going to bring the youth on. My daughter, who has watched him, yes, Rain, my child who has watched him as she has grown up. I would like her to come up and say a couple of words about why Jamal is needed in his seat.
Yeah.
You got it. See how moms do us, man.
She put me on the spot, but it's okay. My name is Rain Hawkins. I am youth advocate and secretary for Parents Supporting Parents New York and Moms United for Black Lives. My mother. I was first introduced to Jamal Bowman when I was around 16, 17. He had a barbecue. Actually, I believe if it was for him being recognized, I was at the barbecue. I don't know where I was at, but I was there. And yeah, from that point on, I just knew that Jamal Bowman has, by far, been my absolute favorite politician. There's a lot of politicians, but all of them I'm really iffy about, but I will never be iffy about Jamal Bowman because he shows it in his work. 2 years ago, before I had my son, he invited Prince Wise to come to the press conference to introduce one of the 9 bills that he has introduced, which was the African American Studies bill, which he did in connection with the National African American Museum in DC. And just based off that, I know you guys talking about the Green Deal. I don't know too much about that yet. Side-eyes my mom. But just based off that and based off the times that I have talked to Jamal, I just know that he is making a way for, because you know I'm out of school now, but he's making a way for my son, my nieces, my nephews, my little sister, my little brother. So I just want to say, as a youth that is becoming the adult that I am, I just want to say that I will forever support Jamal Bowman, and it doesn't matter what party he's in, I'm still going to vote for him. No matter how much I hate voting, because as a young person, I really hate voting. I hate it really bad because the politicians suck. But Jamal makes it better for me, so. Well, Jamal Bowman for congressman.
That was awesome.
100. Okay, that's the voice of the young people. Okay, let's just say that was off the cuff. Clearly, Mom did not tell, so it came from the heart, and she knew what she was talking about, right?
That's right.
So let's be clear. She knows what she's talking about. So I'm going to bring up, before we bring up the congressman to say a few words, we have another dynamic leader. Let me tell you, New York is the home of dynamic organizing, activism, activists, and leaders. And so the next person I'm going to bring up is Jamel Henderson from Citizen Action New York.
Come on, Jamel.
All right, good morning, New York City! New York State! Thank you. All right, my name is Jamel Henderson. I serve as the New York City Regional Board Chair for Citizen Action in New York. And my message is directly for the beautiful people of the sweet 16th Congressional District. Do not fall for the national narrative that is implicated on my big brother. You all know that you have an authentic leader, that no matter what happens in DC, he always makes sure he comes to this district and be in true service to you. You have a congressman who is unapologetic in who he is and is not afraid to make the tough decisions and sleep peacefully at night. That's called integrity.
Integrity.
Right.
You have someone that is unapologetic and unafraid to tackle the issues that affect public education all across the state, the city, and this nation.
Come on, Jamal.
Do not get this twisted. You have a powerful congressman who's down to earth, who is real, who is not a wolf in sheep's clothing. What you see is what you get.
Come on.
And he has dedicated his life
Come on.
to be in service and as an inspiration to young people across this nation, especially who looks like me, who strives to be in those spaces one day.
Come on.
This is a cutthroat decision. There should not even be a round table at the House talking about, oh, well, what about Congress moving this? You've seen the work that he's done. The members and the people of the 16th Congressional District, this is your time to shut the narrative of what is being portrayed nationally by my big brother. And you need to turn it around and let the nation know that at the end of the day, it is you, the residents of the sweet 16th district, that make the final say. And I encourage you to stand with him, as we will stand with him, to get him reelected, get him back into DC as he continues to shake the room for education, for our communities, and for our nation. So big brother, I came all the way from Brooklyn. You understand? That's deep. And Brooklyn, we can go anywhere. So the fact that I came all the way up here to be with my big brother, I want to do it again from now all the way till we get him reelected.
That's right.
Because this is what we stand for. So big brother, let's get this work done. I'm proud of you. Sweet 16th district, make the right decision, reelect him. Thank you so much.
Reelect. Okay.
Re-elect.
All right.
Re-elect. 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 Re-elect.
All right.
Reelect.
So, we done heard a lot, right? We heard some real truth telling that's happening right here. We are all clear. We have educators here. We have WP. We have parents from all over here. We have young people. Oh my God, look how big she is. I'm sorry. We have young people here. Oh my gosh. We have advocates for Jamal Bowman here, right? We are the folks who have been doing the work on the ground in so many different ways, whether it's in the classroom or in the streets, on the steps of City Hall, or up the steps of Albany. We've been to DC, we've traveled where we needed to be, and very rare do we get someone that we can say we are fully behind. And when you have that, we know the importance, as I shared, and we're not willing to let it go. You don't have to be from the Sweet 16 district to support this man. Right? Listen to our stories, look at his record. A lot of times you can't look at a record and see it. You're like, where is it? Where's the legislation? I don't know. That's what he said. Look at the record. So when folks say don't support him, you need to look at them. Because these are the people on the ground that are doing the work. to ensure that all of us, all New Yorkers, have what we do. If we're fighting for education at AQE, that means it's for every child who is marginalized, black, brown, poor kids, to have what they need to have a thriving education. Not mediocre.
That's right.
When people here are fighting for housing, it's for all of us to have affordable housing that we can live
Housing
in.
is a
Health care,
human right.
all the things, right? And this man that's standing to my left, is the person that can continue, not do it, but continue to do that work. And our relationship goes way back, and I'm so proud of him, appreciative of him, from him being an educator to just an amazing human being. And so I want to throw it to the current and new, soon to be re-elected.
That's right.
Of the 316 district
right.
of New York, Congressman Jamal Bowman.
The Sweet 16.
Sweet
That's
16.
right. We taking that. We're gonna take that. Hold on, I gotta give you a hug. I haven't seen you in so long. Hello. Oh my goodness. Wow. See, I know. This is incredible. I almost don't know what to say. First of all, thank you to AQE for supporting me for this re-election. I know you don't do this often, so I just want to say thank you, Zakia, and thank you to everyone for agreeing and voting in support of endorsing my re-election. This is like a homecoming of sorts right now. Like, I haven't seen many of y'all in years, but I've known everyone here for years. And this is a really important point to make. We didn't just start doing this work when I got into Congress. Everyone here has been doing this work for years, for decades, doing the grassroots organizing for our families, for our schools, and for our children. Doing this work for decades. We met when I was Principal Bowman and worked in collaboration to do incredible work for the families in this community in particular. Casa Middle School, the Cornerstone Academy for Social Action Middle School, is right down the street, walking distance from here, like a 5-10 minute walk. My kids would come here to One Word Middle School for summer school every year. So this is our neighborhood, this is our community, this is not just a district, this is where I gave 10.5 years of my life to the families and kids of this community. And the reason why I ran for office is because our kids were hurting. And our families were suffering, and our public schools continued to be neglected and ignored and marginalized. And I would meet with Zakia and elected officials at the city level and state level, and I couldn't believe the lack of urgency and the lack of love and care for our kids. All we kept hearing was excuse after excuse after excuse. Oh, we can't do this because of the IDC. Oh, we can't do this because of Republicans. Oh, we can't do this because of upstate. Can't do this, can't do this, can't do this. And it was that, in addition to our kids suffering and dying right here in the Bronx, and Mount Vernon, and New Rochelle, and across city, state, and country, that led me to run for office in the first place. Because no one was making the connection between the pain and suffering of our kids and families and the policy that came from Washington.
Come on.
No one was making those connections. I said, you know what, I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring and see where it can take us. And these people here, as well as many others, helped get me into office. And thank you, darling. And it is so critical to have educators in Congress, and so critical to have educators in elected office. This is essential. And I'll give you just a couple of quick examples. When I first got to Congress, they were spending about $20 million on community schools nationwide. We advocated during that first appropriations process to raise that number up to about 100, 200 million. Now we spend $200 million a year on community schools. That's what we're talking about. And that has nothing to do with legislation. We introduced a Green New Deal for public schools, which is looking to transform our public school infrastructure that's falling apart into beacons of clean, green, renewable energy. New physical infrastructure. Get rid of the mold and the mildew and the lead in the water and no windows in classrooms and lack of HVAC systems. This stuff is killing our kids.
That's right.
That's why we introduced the Green New Deal for public schools. And oh, by the way, it creates thousands of jobs in each community that we implement this program in. We introduced the African American History Act because we got Republicans across the country trying to ban African American history and banning books in schools and attacking our school boards, saying we can't teach true American history. That's why we introduced that bill. We introduced the More Teaching, Less Testing Act because we are tired of the test conglomerate, the testing moguls, testing and killing our kids with over-testing in our schools. It's not helping them to learn, and they're making profits on the backs of our kids. So we want to get rid of the overuse and misuse of standardized testing in our schools and focus truly on the learning and the creativity of our kids. These are some of the things we've brought to Congress since we have been there. And on the local level, we are still organizing and advocating to make sure our public schools get the funding that they deserve. That is why we're here. That is what we're doing. And someone made mention of this before. Public education is connected to every other issue that goes on in our society. Public education and the impact that happens there is connected to a lack of affordable housing. It's connected to food insecurity. It's connected to public safety. It's connected to economic development or lack thereof. It's connected to mental health. It's connected to all of it. So when we fight for public schools, we fight for housing as a human right. When we fight for public schools, we fight for health care as a human right and universal health care. When we fight for public schools, we fight to make sure our families have everything they need and that we are taking a public health approach to public safety. Not just more cops, but mental health support, substance abuse support, education and workforce development programs. That is what we do when we fight for public schools. And so this race is not just about, yes, investing in our public schools and fighting for public schools, absolutely. But we have to look at, and I'm gonna say this with all humility, I've been in office 3 years. Look at the impact we've had in our community since we've been in office. We brought over $1 billion to our district and focused on areas like mental health, housing, workforce development, climate justice, and yes, our public schools. And we've only been there 3 years. When we first got in, Edenwald didn't have a vaccination site for COVID. People were dying here left and right. We hustled and got a vaccination site in Edenwald. Yonkers didn't have a vaccination site. We hustled and got Yonkers one. Co-op City didn't have one. We hustled and we worked and we got one. So we've been doing the work from the ground up, not the top down. We don't partner with corporate interests to do our work. We don't take money from the wealthiest Americans or the corporate elite to govern from their perspectives. We govern from the perspective of the people. And we will always govern from the perspective of the people. That's just the way it's going to be. And if we weren't having an impact, the whole country wouldn't be attacking us. AIPAC wouldn't be attacking us. The wealthiest among us wouldn't be attacking us. They're attacking us because we are having a transformational impact. And I'm not doing it alone. I'm doing it with an incredible team. I'm doing it with the grassroots with me. So we're about to win this race, y'all. We're gonna win. And we're gonna win it with the support and on the backs of WFP, AQE, and the whole grassroots community across New York State. Thank you all so much. God bless you for being here. Make some noise, y'all.
It's time to close out. You know, we live in a world where we'd rather push fear as a motivator.
Horrible.
And the people behind us in the world across the globe are tired of the fear. Any policy, conversation, legislation that is steeped, that's all you can do is provide fear, is not the right way to do things. And that policy often, always harms Black, brown, and poor folks the most. Jamal Bowman has a vision. People want a vision. They want to be inspired. They want to feel like there's hope at the end of the tunnel, that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And Congressman Bowman does that. He was doing it when he was in schools with children, with his families and his parents. He was providing a vision of what an education, a high quality education looks like. In Congress, he has already created visions through legislation that he named in just 3 years, and most folks have been there for so much longer.
Right.
And would rather blame somebody else for their inaction and inability to pass anything. So here we are now, the truth teller who is all in on all the things that we need to thrive. The person who has a vision, not steeped in fear. The one who inspires and passes legislation. If that's what you want, if that's what you want for your children, I know that's what I want for my grandkids. And even if I don't live in this district, it's a vision that we're not seeing enough. So we have it. Let's make sure we re-elect so that we can not only have more of that vision and inspiration, but we can have more policies that turn our lives around, the average New Yorker's lives around, the poor New Yorkers' lives around, so that we can have a thriving New York. Re-elect Jamal Bowman! Re-elect Jamal Bowman! I don't know if anybody has any questions or anything. We talking about education.
On the side?
Yeah. Right, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.